Monday. This is my 5th installation, and today we're talking all about mindset and how we can use our mindset to help us surf the wave of menopause a little bit easier. And there are strategies that we can employ to just make it a simpler journey. As women, unfortunately, entirely our lives dictated by menopause, hormones. So we reach childbearing years, we move out of childbearing years, and we are hormonal creatures, and there's so much negative press written about how we are run and dictated by our hormones. But I think also we need to give ourselves grace, and I think it's incredibly important to surround yourself with people who are going to lift you up and support you. Because I'm not saying it's an excuse to just be a ratty old crab all day long. No, it's not. We've all got to be socially acceptable. We've got to fit into, our families and our friendship groups. But I think we should give ourselves grace, the fact that, yes, there are going to be days when you wake up and you just feel shabby or you just feel crabby. Today I woke up and I just felt a bit, I can't even put it into words. I just felt a bit tired and as though my body was filled with lead. And I think that's partly due to the fact I've been scuba diving all week and I'm a little bit, I am physically a bit tired, and it's been an amazing week. But I just felt a bit, I could have just stayed in bed, but I couldn't sleep, so there was no point in staying in bed. So, it's just one of those, you get used to those feelings of discombobulation where you don't quite feel yourself. And I think if we can give ourselves grace and accept the fact that we are hormonal creatures, there is negative press written out there about the fact that we are run by our hormones. But heck, so are men. It's a shame that men's hormones drive them in a certain direction and women's hormones drive them in another direction, because often the paths go apart rather than together. But this is just life. This is the way it is. So I think that one of the most important things we can do is actually release any resistance to the fact that we are hormonal creatures. It's what happens. So we've just kind of got to accept it. And when you come on to talking about things like the menopause, again, there is so much negative media out there about, you get dried up, you get wizened, you get old, you get cranky, you get hot flushes, you get anxiety, you get heart palpitations, your hair gets all brittle. Yes, it's another time of our life. It's a transitionary time of life. But I think when we can release some of the negativity around that and actually embrace it as a time of life that allows us to, we step out of our childbearing trousers or skirts and we put on an entirely different outfit. And that entirely different outfit involves a bit of mental clarity up here about where is our life going next. What is our purpose? Because our life changes. My kids now, they're 17 and 19. Daughter's about to go to uni. Son is off doing his own things. And my role as a mother is about to change hugely. And I have to say I'm not looking forward to it, but it's what's going to happen. So, instead of trying to resist it and feel really, really negatively about it, I'm surrounding myself by female friends who are like me. We share a sense of humour. I've got a really great friend, Louise, and we often laugh about the fact that these things happen. My mum's a brilliant one. She's a generation ahead, but we have fun about it. There's no point in worrying about the fact that things change when you're menopausal. It's going to happen. So just accept it and try and focus on the positives of it. And the positives of that are redefining your purpose, surrounding yourself by people that you have the opportunity possibly now to surround yourself with. You're out of that sort of necessity to be around the school gates if you're a mother. Your crowd can evolve with you, and I think it's really important that you do surround yourself with female friends that lift you up and that help you see it more positively than negatively, because our purpose does change. It took me a little while to sort of get on board with the fact that my purpose was changing, and I've taken steps. There are things that we can control. Don't just be a victim of your circumstances. Find friends that support you. Find clubs that are of interest to you, whether that's hiking, whether it's bridge, whether it's bowling, whether it's cake baking, book reading, whatever it is. Just reach out to people who do things that you also enjoy. You don't have to be stuck in this body that is just defined by menopause. Take the steps, change the things that you can change. You know, I think it's also important to realize that, yeah, we often with the changes in our hormones, we can feel a bit crabby, we can feel a bit tearful, and I think you've got to just give yourself some grace, accept that that's how you're feeling, but don't let it ruin the rest of the day. So don't assume because you're feeling tearful right now that you're going to continue feeling tearful all day long. It's a moment, and that moment will pass. So do something that you enjoy doing. Give yourself grace. It might just be taking yourself out for 5 minutes and doing some deep breathing, maybe some meditation, go for a walk around your garden, go for a walk in the park. Just take time away. It is so powerful when you give yourself space in order to be aware of how you're feeling, which is a major thing. A lot of us, we go through the day and it's just like, it's sort of frantic chaos. But identify what you're feeling and just be aware of it. It's not good or bad, it's just how you are. Don't judge it. Don't try and resist it. Just get into that feeling. It will pass, and then focus on something that is something that you can control and that you can take positive action towards in order to enhance your day in some way, shape or form. Also, be aware of the triggers. So who or what triggers you? My life is super simple. I'm a mum. I have no partner. I have the freedom to travel when I want to travel. I have the freedom to scuba dive all week with my daughter when I want to. But I've designed that lifestyle. I've worked really hard to create that freedom. But I know that freedom to me is incredibly, incredibly important. In fact, if you want a value sheet, I have a value sheet that I can send to you. It's a really good way of actually assessing what is really important to you. Until I did my value sheet, I actually hadn't realised what my top 3 values were. And freedom is one of those up there. So I've designed a life that allows me that freedom. And it works really well. It supports me with my mental health. It supports me with my physical health. And it allows me to be the parent that I need to be to my kids and that I want to be to my kids. And I just feel a better person because of it. And it is never too late. I started to design this lifestyle that I've got right now about 2 years ago, just under 2 years ago. And I have to say, I feel incredibly lucky to have it. And so there are things that you can control. Change involves effort, but heck, it is worth that effort. And the effort doesn't need to be catastrophic, but you might need to be aware of who and what triggers you to bring you down, who and what triggers you to make you feel anxious or angry. If you're surrounded by people who are toxic in your life, change it. If they're bringing you down constantly, don't stay stuck in a relationship for fear of being alone. I promise you, being alone and happy is way better than being stuck with somebody who brings you down. And likewise, you know, I'm not saying that they are the doom and gloom. You're the one that might have to do some work on yourself. But by being kind to yourself, by taking measures to improve how you deal with those negative feelings, you can then be a better person or be a more pleasant person to be around. So I know some of us, it can be really hard when you're feeling crabby, but on days like that, be open, be vulnerable, share your vulnerability. If you can say to somebody, look, I don't know what's wrong with me, I just feel really crabby, I feel really anxious, I'm trying my hardest, but please, you know, give me some grace today. That person is on board with you to support you. They're not then trying to second guess, oh my God, what's wrong with her? Does she hate me? What have I done? Did I say something wrong? Open up to your nearest and dearest and your significant others so that they are on board with you. There is nothing shameful about admitting how you are feeling. You just allow them in to your particular set of circumstances, your particular set of experiences of that particular moment in time. And I promise you, as somebody who tried to do a lot of second guessing in her earlier years, it pays dividends to be open and be vulnerable. And when I was younger, I built that brick wall around me. It was so darned hard to get in. And my life is so much happier and easier now because I just live it, and I don't try to be anything that I'm not. And I let people in, which is really nice. It's a lot easier because you're not constantly building that bloody brick wall up. So let people in, be vulnerable, take it a little step, bit by bit, but it does work, I promise you. And you don't need to be menopausal for this to happen. If you're watching this thinking, yes, I need to start knocking down my wall, just allow people into your life. Just be honest, be open. And if they mock you for it, or if they use it against you, remove them. They are toxic. If people cannot support you, your significant others are not supporting you, you can change that. And that is another element that you can control. Other things you can control, you've got to get moving. You've got to move your body. And that means raising your heartbeat so you keep your cardio health going. You know, when we're menopausal, we have a greater propensity for heart disease, we have a greater propensity for cancer. We have obviously brittle bones can start, so you need to be included. I mean, the best combination to combat things like belly fat, which are obviously common during the menopause, and failing heart health. That sounds positive, doesn't it? And bone disease and cancer, that sort of thing, is you need a good combination of cardio. You need to include strength training, and you need to include HIIT, high intensity interval training. Those three combined, when they're put together in a nice package, will help you beat the stress, because we gobble up stress hormones, so it's good for our brain as well. It'll help you strengthen your bones. It'll be good for your cardiac health. So you want something that combines cardio, HIIT and weight training. Get out in nature as well. Being out in nature, it's been proven that it just helps our mental health, and it helps you feel better about yourself. It's something that you can do. You don't have to take long to do it every day, but it will just, if you're doing a few things on a daily basis that lift you up and support you, it's going to make those more crabby moments or those more vulnerable moments a lot easier to cope with. It's not just one thing with the menopause. You've got to go for the whole package. You need to look after your brain, you need to look after your body, you need to look after your gut health, so you need to be eating reasonably healthy food. And I'm not saying don't have any treats, but you do need to make sure that your gut health is on form, because 90% of our serotonin is created within our gut. Serotonin is what helps us to feel better. If our gut is buggered up because we've got too much processed food, too much sugar, too much of the gunky stuff in there, it's not going to work properly. Just look after your gut health. Drink lots of water, try and get good sleep. If you're really struggling with sleep, I have a sleep hygiene document I can share with you as well. If you've not already got that, let me know and I will send that to you too. It's just a really good strategy of 13 steps that are really simple, but will help you maximize your sleep. Your sleep is a problem, because I know a lot of menopausal ladies struggle with their sleep. I want to share 2 stories with you, because a gratitude journal, it's been proven that people who are grateful for their life are happier people. Happiness starts inside, and by doing something like a gratitude journal, it can just help you realize actually your day went a lot better than you thought it did. If you're watching this, you've woken up alive. That's something to be grateful for. If you're watching this, you've survived to the menopausal years. Something to be grateful for. We have family members who never managed to get to the menopause. So every day, if I feel crabby, I just think that I'm still here. So every day might not be the best, but we've got so much to be grateful for. And yesterday I was chatting to this just incredible man who runs the diving school where my daughter and I did our advanced open water diving. And he's been all around the world. He's had tea with the Dalai Lama. He lives for experiences, and then he's incredibly successful doing what he does, and then he goes off and he travels again and he lives these experiences. And he spent quite a long time in India, and there was this story he shared yesterday. It's just like, wow, you know, if we think we're crabby and we've got a lot of woes on our plate, I mean, wait till you hear this. So he made friends with this little boy in Calcutta who essentially lives his life on top of one of the buses, because he helps people bring their stuff up, and people sit on top of the buses. So that's his position. is he's on top of the bus, and this man had made friends with this little boy, and this little boy said, he goes, if I work really, 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 really hard in my life and I do really, really, really well, maybe when the man who collects the tickets on the bus dies, maybe I can have his job. And then if I continue to work really, really, really hard and really, really, really well, maybe in my next life, I might become the bus driver. And his whole existence revolved around this bus. That's his life, and his next life was moving from his position on the roof of the bus to collecting the tickets to possibly be even being that bus driver. And you think, my God, I mean, that really does put it all into perspective when you think about it. When we have access to clear water, we have access to mobile phones, we have access to toilets that flush, we have access to healthcare, and we have access to dreams that we can actually go out and fulfill. And this little boy's world was confined to this bus. And then just to follow that up with another story, this man had because he stayed in Calcutta for quite a significant amount of time. And he was saying he overheard mothers, this always makes me cry, so I'm going to try not to cry, decide which of their children they were going to have to let go because they couldn't feed them. So which of their children were going to die through malnourishment, and they were having that conversation with each other. And you think, we have got so much to be grateful for. We've got so much to live for. And sometimes I think we just need to shake ourselves. We get so used to living in this society where everything we have disposable, this, that, and the other. And when it comes down to it, we are so bloody lucky. So I don't want to end on doom and gloom. But I did want to share those two stories because for me, that just puts it all into perspective. No matter how yucky we might be feeling, no matter how bad our situation or we think our situation might be, yes, it doesn't, I'm not saying there's somebody out there worse than you, so forget all your symptoms. But I'm just saying when you can reflect on the fact that we are incredibly lucky, then I think that can help to change your mindset around the menopause. So I really hope this helped. If any of it specifically resonates with you, please share it with me. And for future episodes coming up, if there's anything that you want me to discuss specifically on Menopause Monday, leave me a comment or send me a private message. And I'm at Kate Hartley UK on Instagram and on Facebook, so I'm quite easy to find. And on YouTube as well, because all these go up onto YouTube. So yeah, if you've got anything that you want me to discuss in future episodes, please let me know and I'll make sure to include that, and then I'll tag you in that particular episode so that you'll know when I've done it. Okay, so I hope that helped. But there is so much that we can change, there is so much that we can control, and there is so much that we can actually be grateful for. So I hope you have a great rest of your Mondays, and thank you for joining me. And yeah, share with me what you'd like me to go over next time. Okay, I will catch you soon.